Who's that? Who's that in my chat? Grand Rising, friends. We're in the fifth line of Gate 27, which this gate has inspired a hilarious influx in humor for me personally. And I'm not really entirely sure why. I feel like this gate is it's not necessarily an emotional gate, but it's definitely bringing into the question the balance or the harmonies or the way that some things are balanced. In particular, self care and the care of others. And apparently, that's funny to me. So anyway, good morning, guys. How are you doing? How are people feeling with this transit? We're getting close to the end. This is one of those sort of getting ahead of me. It's going fast. It's going fast is what I'm really trying to say. Miguel, nice to meet you, my friend. Are you new to the archive? Yours is a new face here in this studio at least. Man of the law, I greet you at the top of the square. Indeed. Well, welcome, Miguel. Really excited to have you. I'm gonna go. Have you posted in the archive yet? I'm gonna go check out your chart if it's in there. Let me see. Let me see. I don't see you, so you must be brand new. When you get a chance, drop your chart in the body graph gallery of the archive. So during this live, if you have any questions, um, I can look at your body graph and directly do that. That's something that I do for all of my archive people that decide to join me on these lives, which are really fun. Because in the beginning, it's like, oh my God, I can ask questions about my chart, and that's great. But then at some point, and you probably join the archive for this reason, you know, we sort of grow beyond needing the chart. Doesn't mean that we don't want the chart. It just means that we don't need the chart in the way that maybe before the archive you felt like you needed the chart. You felt like you needed a map. Because the reality is you can find treasure without a map if you have a solid compass and you know how to investigate properly. And that's sort of what we're doing with the archive is we're showing you how to, without really using the map at first, discover your organs, discover your relationship with pressure and heat, your relationship with your body, and then we show you how to use the map. And I love this approach because in life, the test usually comes before the lesson. School is the only place where the lesson comes before the test, and so yeah, it's just a really great approach to human design because you don't have to know anything. You say you're a big HD noob. That's awesome. Jovian Archive, you can make it there. I would just go to reikimarco.com because that way you get the nice clean neutrino chart, that's aesthetically that's my favorite chart. So if you go to reikimarco.com, and for anyone else that wants to generate a chart, you can just generate it on my website for free. Take a screenshot and slam it in the body graph gallery. Denise, good afternoon. I also joined yesterday. Oh, wonderful. Welcome to all my new family members. You'll see very quickly like how much fun we get to have in the archive because um, the people sort of in charge of it, Pasha and myself, are total goofballs. We're total goofballs. We get serious, deadly serious, and at our hearts, we're total goofballs. We love to laugh. Um, so anyway, wow, stoked, guys, stoked for you. Dylan, welcome, welcome. Appreciate your enthusiasm. The archive is fun, guys. The archive is it's not only fun, it's changing people's lives. I mean, we've got people who are literally changing the structure of their faces, doing a class like an hour a day, and it's wild because when you transform your face, like when you build out your face, you like this outfit? It makes all your outfits look better. No, I'm kidding. Um, there's a lot of benefits to building out your face aside from beautification. Something that I'm seeing widespread is mewing, getting these like chiseled jaw lines, but not for the sake of what a chiseled jawline actually represents in the world. Having a strong jaw in the world, like the essence and the behavioral benefit of it, people are pursuing it purely for the aesthetic of it. And just because you build the aesthetic of it doesn't necessarily mean you get to build the behavior elements of it. I mean, how many jacked assholes are there out there, right? Just like super big muscles, and you would expect that type of person to have a warrior spirit and a warrior mindset, but they're just little children trying to compensate for their lack of behavioral uh, capacity. We'll say it that way, and their nervous system capacity, because what we're doing with the archive is we're showing you how to take stress and cortisol, pressure and heat, discomfort, confusion and doubt, and we're giving you opportunities to sit with it through doing exercises. And I wanted to actually open up this live with an exercise, so we're going to do that in a little bit after I say hello to everybody. Give us like 5-10 minutes, then we're going to do an exercise so y'all can see what this is all about. um, Stephen, I'm doing lawfully well on this Friday. Also, by the way, for the new people in the archive, Denise and Miguel, where are you guys calling in from? I'd love to know what part of the world you guys are tuning in from. Dylan, for you as well, brother. Where are you guys calling in from? Lisbon, okay. Columbus, Georgia. That's what's up. Javi, what's up, man? What's up, hermano? I just met Justin's brother yesterday for the first time, which is awesome. Steven, I switched to TikTok today. You are welcome wherever you please, my friend. It's definitely like a different beast over here on TikTok than it is in YouTube or Instagram, which is pretty funny. Emma from North Carolina, welcome. Yeah, Javi, we played music for like hours, and it was great. It was great. They're such brothers. It's so funny. Such different expressions, but also such brothers. So I'd be in the archive right now, but my video only works on Wi-Fi, so I'm here on TikTok. Yeah, it's all good. Wherever you can tune in from, it's all good. I've seen you already in the archive, brother. So I give love to everyone, but I give a lot of love to my archive family. Just because you guys are helping, you know what I mean? Like you're getting access to the work, but then you're also helping Pasha and I create a lifestyle where we can continue to investigate and share this, because to me, something that's so important about what we're doing with sensory design is that none of this is really new information. It's actually very old information. Same thing with human design. um, Old information. You think the crib is tough? The crib is pretty tough. I live in a bus. I got an ant problem right now, or it's not an ant problem, but I saw some ants in my spot that are usually not there. So that is an interesting thing. But also living in the jungle. Javi would love to have you out here, bro. It'd be awesome. Joy, welcome, welcome. Started reading the Emerald Tablet yesterday. Which one? There's a little bit of discrepancy I've discovered, which breaks my heart, because I love a lot of the things like Law of One and the Emerald Tablets. I love those things. And when I hear people talk about some of the sort of ways that they were brought about and the drama surrounding that, it makes me sad, but it also makes me curious around the lines of like how much of it is legitimate from the past and how much of it was like interpretation of something that happened in the past. Sorry to jump on your joy right away. There is an emerald tablet though that I really like. It's not so much about the actual emerald tablets of Thos and Hermes Trismegistus and all that, which to me, again, like from some of the research that I've done, are questionable. I don't discount it, but it's not necessarily like the tomes that Thoth wrote himself. There's some drama around that, which is, like I said, very unfortunate because the message is beautiful. However, the Emerald Tablets, I forget what it. I think the link might be in my bio if you guys wanted to check it out. It's basically a means of alchemy. It's a means by which you can engage in the alchemical process. I need to look and see if it's in there. Yeah, it's in there. If you look in my Amazon shop, the Emerald Tablet Alchemy for Personal Transformation. It doesn't go too much into like the Emerald Tablets so much as it does what the Emerald Tablets are all about, which is alchemy. Which, back to my point, in the archive, we're so grateful for every member, because each member is like not only receiving benefit, but they're also encouraging us to explore this more. Because the original thing that I was going to say before I got all ADD, let me look at everyone's comments and respond, was that this is not new stuff. This is old stuff. This is very, very old stuff. And the magic of old stuff is that if it doesn't work in the new age, it doesn't work in the new age. And oftentimes, what people like to do is dress up old stuff as new stuff. And we're looking to do the opposite. We're looking to undress a lot of the new stuff and reveal the foundational old stuff that has always been there. So things like senses, things like proper locomotion, hunter gatherer mechanics, ancestral mechanics, things like uh, organ homeostasis and your ability for instance, your digastric system to talk to your pelvic floor. So what we're doing is we're asking ourselves this question of what are the exercises that get our bodies to function the way that they have been refined over generations to function. Because there's a very real virus happening right now, and it's showing up in a lot of different ways. But at the core of it, the virus is quite simply a disconnection from nature. Disconnect from physical nature, walking around in trees, eating healthy food, but also a disconnect from our own nature, making decisions based off the gut instead of in favor of the mind, so that we can make the smart decision or the right decision or the decision that makes sense or looks good to other people, as opposed to the decision that's true in ourselves. And this creates all kinds of dysfunctions, like people going around saying my truth. Like, you don't have a truth. You have your experience of the truth. We call that an opinion or an experience. My truth, it's like saying my air. You don't own the air. You don't have claim and ownership over there. You don't even really have claim and ownership over your body. And so in the archive, the whole system, the whole ecosystem is actually built around signature. The more people that we can have in the archive that are living their signature, the better things are going to be. Because what happens when you go from not self, which is in human design, you're supposed to, how you say, operate in a natural way. And if you don't operate in your natural way, you try and be like your mom or your dad or your boyfriend or your girlfriend, you end up experiencing your not self, which effectively is not you. It's the part, it's the all the parts of you that you are. It's burying that and putting something else on top and being like, I'm like this person. And so when you see the transformation that people take from not self to signature, and you see not the smile on their face, but you see the depth in their eyes, you see the strength of their neck, you see the color of their skin. It's a full transformation, and people are having wild transformations in just 90 days. And what that tells me is that if I can and Pasha can show you how to just come into contact with your signature, two things are either going to happen. You're either going to go all in, or you're going to run away slash crumble. Lisa, hello. You're right. Dude, and it's like I love being right, but I love being wrong, because until it's right, until it's truth with a capital T, to me it's like my opinion doesn't matter. My truth doesn't matter. My experience, when I look at the world, it's like that what the idea in my head and the reality have to match up. Perfectly articulated. Your signature equals you minus a lifetime of programming. And it's actually not even minus. It's just like that programming isn't running the show, because we're doing something different in the archive. Instead of healing the trauma and healing the programming, we are seeking to envelop it. We are seeking to surround it with pressure and awareness and heat and compassion and cook it. We're not looking to like surgically extract it like a lot of other systems. We're looking to cook it and bake it into the system, because the reality is your past is a part of you. And if you are trying to run away from your past, especially with all these spiritual modalities, eventually you're just going to keep circling back to that past. And so we don't really consider um, sensory design a spiritual modality, and human design isn't really a spiritual modality either, but it's all very spiritual because your nature is spiritual. You are by nature spiritual. The t-shirt, you guys like that shirt? That's the logo for the archive. There's a lot of magic. It's based off the body graph, but it's also based off of the hemispheres of the brain and the skeletal system, and the way that there's these beautiful spirals that shape us, that they shape us. And if we allow ourselves to be shaped by what's natural as opposed to what society says is normal, there's a beautiful unfolding that can happen here. So anyway, oh yeah, the one you recommended, Emerald Tablet Alchemy for Perspiration. All hail the yes, all glory to the teacher, has been helpful to these exercises into perspective. Because the first step of alchemy is calcination, is reducing everything to its how you say, to ashes, to extract what is actually gold from that. And a lot of the first things that we do in the archive, the first episode, first training, first class, is literally introducing you to what we call global pressure and global heat. It's getting you comfortable with building heat and building pressure. And so I said we were going to do an exercise, and so let's do an exercise. For those of you that are already in the archive, again, this is something that is one of the first things that you do. For those of you that are new to the archive, welcome. For those of you that have no idea what the archive is, but you're here in this live, I want to invite you to participate in this. If you're the type of person that is burdened by overthinking, anxiety, low energy, um, overwhelm, you're very sensitive to other people's energy, this is something that is really, really going to help you. Prana, what's up? You made it just in time for the exercise. And what I want to say is that there's no wrong way to do this. If you participate, you will get some benefit even if you're not cognitively aware of it. And so I'm going to explain the exercise briefly, and then we're just going to do it together. It's actually very quick. What we're going to do is we're going to keep our eyes looking at the screen, and we're going to smell, which is a alternative to inhale. Smell our head as far as we can to the left while keeping our eyes on the screen. Smell. Once we go as far as we can, we're going to swallow, and then we're going to blow a cool stream of air out. Come back to center. And you want to time your breaths so that when you smell, you get to the top of the smell, still looking forward when you're as far right as you can go. Swallow. Cool stream of air. Come back to center. So we're going to do that about 4, maybe 5 times. And the invitation here again is to just explore. This is about exploration. You're exploring the sense of smell. What can you smell? Do you like the smell? Does it smell good? Do you know where the smell's coming? Explore the sensations. Swallowing. What does that feel like? Cool stream of air. What does your air taste like? And then also explore that feeling of strain. Explore the feeling of like, oh, that's kind of far. Like that's a little bit of a strain on my neck. We're moving slowly. We're moving gently. It's not like whap, whip your neck. Okay. Nice, slow, steady, graceful. Be in the sensation of it. And we're going to start now. So eyes facing forward, face facing forward. Nose is going to smell to the left. Eyes are going to keep facing forward. Drop your shoulders back. Swallow. Cool stream of air as you come back to center. Smell the other direction. Swallow. Cool stream of air. Come back to the center. Smell to the other direction. Your ear should be replacing your nose as the front part of your face. Swallow. Eyes are always facing forward. Cool stream of air. What does your exhale taste like? One more round. Smell to the one direction. Swallow. Cool stream of air. Smell to the other direction. Swallow. Cool stream of air. All right, bonus round. Puff out your cheeks like a chipmunk and do the same thing. We're going to attempt to keep that pressure in our cheeks, doing the smells Exhales are going to come through the nose instead of the mouth, but puff the cheeks out. Mm-hmm. Swallow, air out the nose. Mm-hmm. 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 And relax. The other direction is the band sister of One Direction. That's the other direction. It doesn't matter which direction you go in. You know what I mean? It's like left, right, left, right. When you're walking, you don't have to think about which foot is in front, which foot do I need to put next. It's like there's only, if left is in front, then you put the other one in front. This is an example of how the mind will tend to get in the way of what is happening. The mind is like a, how you say, a very eager actor ready to play the main role, and the actual actor who's playing the main role is playing the main role, and then the eager actor runs up and grabs the microphone and is like, I am the main role. That's what the mind does a lot. And if you're not willing as the main actor to gracefully say, hey buddy, sit, I'm the actor, I'm the one doing this, the mind will always do that, and it will rob you of your satisfaction, of your peace, of your relaxation, of your sleep, of your joy. It will rob you of so many things. And the reality is, it's very simple to tell your mind to sit down, but you have to, it's not easy, it's not comfortable, it can be confusing for the mind because most people relate to the world through the mind. Um, but with that exercise, guys, what are you feeling right now? What kind of sensations? What smells did you pick up? How was it swallowing? Because no, people don't usually practice swallowing with their head all the way to the left. This is something you can do even while you're eating. Like next time you're eating, eat some food, turn your head all the way to the right or the other way, and try and swallow food. But let me know. Relaxed. Swallowing was quite hard. Awesome, Ruben. Great to be um, real with those sensations, because a lot of overthinking is a result of the inability to swallow gracefully, swallow big sensations, swallow big energies, bring them into your body. Really difficult swallowing. I smell steak. Oh, nice. Miguel, I got you, bro. I'll have a look at your chart in a second. So challenging to swallow with the chipmunk cheeks. Yep, Emma, you got it. I feel a little sleepy. Denise, great. You're when you drop into the sleepy or yawny or drooly or eyes tired, your body is producing liquids. And it's the same sort of relaxation that happens either when you're going to sleep and your body is getting ready to rest because you feel safe, or you're about to make love, or you're about to eat food. Like your body will relax because it's about to do something. It starts to, instead of being on alert, ready to fight, it's like I'm either going to digest or rest. And so it's like building yourself up. And this is actually a great way to prepare yourself for sleep or for meals, this exercise in particular, because it opens up the pathways. It opens up your ability to sense and smell. And when you smell food, your whole system is designed so that whatever it is that you're smelling, your stomach prepares to receive it. Never thought these bodily functions would feel like multitasking. And yet, this is where we get into so many of the benefits of practicing sensory design. And this is just the beginning. This is literally the first, you learn this in the very first class of sensory design. This is literally just the beginning. We have 3 seasons with a minimum of 7 episodes per season, and it takes you through exploration, because this was just exploration. Then there's building out your system through the senses, and then there's integrating that into walking and mechanics. So that may be dealing with the same lessons. Why do people use food as a coping mechanism? Ah, I mean, a big reason why a lot of people use food as a coping mechanism. Same thing with, you know, hitting the pendulum or any kind of like inhaling. It's with kissing or sucking. Like there's a lot of men out there that are looking for their mothers, essentially, and women as well who are looking for their mothers. And it's because the breastfeeding mechanic never really matures. Everyone is still looking for a boob, something else outside to nourish them, and that's why they eat food that's not good for them because their mind is has this weird story, and a lot of it is the mind. It's like the mind convinces you that you have to do certain things, show up a certain way to get love or to get nourishment, and the reality is for a lot of people that if you don't show up that way, you know, your parents disown you, you get kicked out of the house, you get beat up at school. So there's survival mechanisms, but it still doesn't bypass the necessity to develop resilience and independence and sovereignty within the body and the system. In a way, this shirt looks like a wild extension of your pendant. That's awesome. I didn't even think about that. We'll put it right in the middle. Boom. That does look pretty cool. A lot of food issues are solar plexus related too. Yeah, and so much of the solar plexus in human design is the center of emotions, and it's described in a lot of different ways. But the way that I view the solar plexus is it's like this whole. That's why when you're crying and you're really crying, you're like you if you actually let yourself cry, not just like let the tears roll down, but if you let yourself grieve and thrash, the amount of pressure and heat that builds up in your body is immense. And most people are not avoiding their emotions because they're afraid of looking dumb or they're afraid of other people judging them. That's what you think. Really, the reason people are not processing their emotions is because they think they're going to die. They think they're in danger because the amount of heat and pressure that is cultivated within the body during an emotional wave, people get to just a fraction of the level of heat and pressure that's cultivated, and they say, whoa, whoa, whoa. I'm gonna hurt myself. I better not have a nervous breakdown. Blah blah blah. The mind again comes in and says, "No, no, no. I'm gonna save us from these heavy emotions." But it's like that's what our system is designed to do. Like if you don't eat, your stomach literally eats itself. If you hold your breath and stop breathing, you'll start to breathe again. The body wants to do what it was designed to do, and there's certain things that it needs. It needs oxygen, really bad, or air, and oxygen, nitrogen, in the perfect balance. It needs food. It needs water. It needs warmth to stay alive. There's certain things that you actually need that these mechanics will help you get. And then there's things that you want, like, a girlfriend or a boyfriend that makes you dinner every night or does the dishes even though you don't ask them to. But the mind will disguise those things as needs. And it will say, I need you to do the dishes and blah, blah, blah. I need you to take the trash out when I say. I need you to comment on my Instagram pictures and let me know I'm beautiful so that people know that I'm taken. Otherwise, I'm going to leave. And it's like, then leave. Because what you really need is oxygen, water, food, shelter for warmth. Like that's actually all you need to survive. And if you don't have the survival things panned out, you're going to look to other people and blame them, like your mom and your dad as the first few, but then ultimately boyfriend, girlfriend, boss, etc. This is why my life sucks. And you're just going to point blame. And it sucks. Because deep down in your core, ah, I have to take care of my own needs. No one actually gives a fuck. Once I start caring about myself, that's when people that actually have the capacity to care and are not just caring for you as a way of looking good, that's when they'll show up. Do you have thoughts on hot flashes aside from biomechanical answer? The fire of a hot flash is uh, exponential soul heat. I would say, for instance, like I have had heat stroke before, and that was an inability to hydrate myself. And so for me, it was sort of like the body will redirect you when necessary. It will send you signals, and if you don't listen, it will full on redirect you. Like if you're sick, it will send you signals. It'll be like, you're low energy today. Your throat's a little scratchy. And if you don't listen and you just go about your day like normal, it says, well, now we're going to kick your ass. Because the reality is that the body will override the mind, and the mind has the ability to program the body to certain degrees. And so you can think of it like a campaign, like Shadow of Mordor, Shadow of War from Lord of the Rings, this really great game. Any game where there's this battle between two conflicting sides and there's the ability to colonize territories. I mean, you can think of it like politics, really. Parts of your body are subservient to your mind. Other parts of your body are subservient to your presence and your design and your being. The difference is which one calls the shots as the authority in each given moment. And you can reprogram, you can take parts of your body that are slaves of the mind and transition them over into becoming a part of your presence and part of your being, a part of your signature, which is everything that human design tells us we can be. But the only way to do it is by actually reprogramming the tissue in the body. That's why people go to hypnotherapy. That's why people join the archive, is because all the other stuff in terms of talk therapy, medications, all these different spiritual education programs. Again, not that they're not good. There's some degree of tissue that does transfer, but that's not the focus. The focus oftentimes is the lineage or the teachings or the daily practice. And again, none of those things are bad. However, the real aim is to, again, recolonize the body under the banner of your presence and your signature as opposed to your mind. Because your mind has a bunch of useful information. It has information on what this person likes and what that person likes and how that person thinks and how that works over there. But it doesn't have information on how the sacral generates energy. It doesn't really have information on how the solar plexus processes big emotions. Why? Because every sacral response, every solar plexus processing, every emotional wave is nuanced. There's things that came before it that might look like it, but it's nuanced. It's new. It's new. The way you process things, that's your conditioning. And we're not looking to decondition you. We're looking to recondition you. Again, we're looking to recolonize the body. So anyway, what do you guys think about that? That was fun. I've been on a rant. But anyway, the hot flashes. Um, totally. Nice. So what's one's life energy needing or telling them when that happens? With the hot flashes, I would often say, and one of the things that I associate hot flashes with are women in menopause. So women getting to the point of their life where they are leaving the childbearing biological era of their life and entering into the crone era, which I feel as though there is so much dismissal and so much devaluation happening with that age group in particular, specifically like the 60 plus, 50 and 60 upwards. It's seen as this, oh, I got to take care of my mom. She needs me to cook for her. I got to put her in a home. It's a very like inconvenient thing widely. And even in some political systems, they talk about how old people are literally useless to society. But again, that's because the focus is on the society, which man created as a separate from nature. Like we created walls and shelter to keep ourselves warm from nature. You have to go outside to get the things that you need. And so it's this wild transition. And I my guess is that a lot of the reasons why hot flashes spiritually come into a woman's life or she'll suffer from hot flashes is because there's levels of heat and pressure that in her mother or maiden years she didn't necessarily learn from those. And so it's like in order to sort of bring her up to speed to get on like the spiritual level of the crone or the elder, the hot flashes come as a way of that. That could be an interpretation. Not saying that's right. That's sort of just like a nice fantasy. Anyway, I think YouTube is better. LOL. Gave you a bunch of likes on TikTok. Thanks, Stephen. Brother, can you speak on playing victim? That's my current life lesson. I'm sure it could help others also. Totally. So Victim mentality, is really like you just haven't demonstrated enough times to yourself that you're not a victim. This is the way I see it, because victim mentality often is developed as a means of survival, as a means of conservation of energy. And so there may have been some challenging things in your life. And because you didn't have someone to support you and say, "Hey, you got this, like push through it," like what is happening now, you opted for the path of least resistance, which is to just like, oh, sort of like give up before the race even starts. I'm 50 plus and it's the best phase of my life. Carrie, there we go. That's what I'm talking about. Bethany. Bruh, same. I'm working through seeing how I have been an actor making things happen. Bethany, love it. Ladies, I love it so much. Um, and the victim role is part of, in my opinion, the victim role is really in a lot of ways recognizing is the first part. Like if you recognize that you're a victim, you're in a much better place than if you didn't think you were a victim, or you didn't how you say, you weren't even aware of this. So awareness is the first thing, but then what we have to do, of course, is demonstrate to ourselves and demonstrate to our minds, because it's your mind that thinks you're a victim. Your mind is telling your body, your mind is doing all this stuff to your body. And so it takes time to build up confidence. That's why it's like you build confidence. But the more and more you do it, the more and more you do an exercise and your mind goes, let's give up. This is too hard. And you say, nope, not going to give up. Like you use your will. That over time will overcome the immovable object. It's like you're pushing, 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 pushing. Nothing is happening, nothing is moving, but you're getting stronger. You're getting stronger. And then eventually you're pushing, pushing, and it starts to move, and you're like, oh shit. And then your mind and the people that your mind has trained around you will throw all these things at you to distract you from the progress that you're making. But yeah, sometimes that progress doesn't look like moving the object. Sometimes it looks like you becoming stronger. So anyway, just popping in to say hi. Quad right queen. Oh, hello. It's been a minute. It has been a minute. Well, I have yeah, I don't do the Discord as much anymore. I got back into it for a hot second, and I still love the platform. But I have a new community now. We have another community that we're pouring a lot of energy into, and so I thought about promoting it in that Discord, especially since I created that Discord. Um, I haven't found the right way to do it yet, but it probably will come at some point. Victim consciousness is just the openness in transference. You don't need to heal victim consciousness separately. It's automatically remedied by coming into alignment with the definition. That was very well said. So I find this so fascinating. I personally struggle with food and different eating behaviors. I've done a lot of parts work, yep, like internal family systems around this, and I usually find that these parts are using my body to get attention. One of my little parts said she wants more light and movement, the basics, Emma. So this is fascinating because like family works, family systems, constellations, parts work, gestalt healing. Gestalt healing, in my opinion, is probably some of the most on point therapy, simply because it's like, yes, it's great to come into contact and to see them with your awareness. However, you don't actually, from my opinion, don't actually have to do that. That's where hypnotherapy is great, because you don't actually come into contact with like the memory or the thing. You come into contact with what your body has done with that thing. You come into contact with the effect or the feeling of that thing, because what happens to you doesn't really matter. What really matters is how you respond or what reflex is activated. And for me, this is three, and I don't know if this is anywhere in psychology or whatever, but to me, you go from reactive to responsive to reflexive, and as you progress through those, you get better and better and better. And the reason why is because we have three methods of, or three steps within processing and experiencing reality. We have afferent information, afferent feedback, which is getting things through your eyeballs, nose, ears, mouth, down into the throat. We have the processing, which uses pressure and heat to cook it, contraction, expansion, all of these different ways of modifying pressure and heat. That's how we process information. And then we have efferent feedback, which is like afferent feedback is I see a tiger, Processing is tiger can kill me, need to run away. Efferent feedback is the turning and moving. It's the locomotion, it's the biomechanics of it. And so all of those systems are either going to be reactive, responsive, or reflexive. And it's always a mix of the three. It's like you have no idea what's going on, you're fresh eyes to it, you're adept, you know what's going on, but there's still like sort of this, how you say, you have to manually go do it. And then there's reflexive where it's just you don't even think about it. Fighters demonstrate this really well. And fighting in general is actually a great comparison because in the beginning you're very reactive. When punches get thrown at you, you're blinking, you're shying away, you're flinching. Over time, and that's where a lot of victim mentality is it's in the automatic, like, oh fuck, god, I'm scared. But you don't get through that reactivity unless you get through that reactivity, unless you continue to expose yourself to it. After you've exposed yourself to it for a while, you start to respond. You start to say, oh, okay, stop flinching. Just put your guard up. Okay, protect yourself. All right. Every once in a while, you might hit a flinch, but you start to reprogram and recolonize your body. Then comes the reflexive state. After you've done enough, put your hands up higher. Stop closing your eyes. Keep your eyes on your target. Keep breathing. You give yourself enough conscious cues, then it gets handed over to the subconscious. That's where you become reflexive, where you're not thinking anymore, at least about the movements and the punches and the dodging and all that stuff. All that stuff is just boom, boom. Like for me, I grew up doing martial arts. And I tell you how many times I had to defend from that. It's just like it's just in my body. It's in my body. Like I don't need to think about, oh, I need to get out of the way over here. It's reflexive. But it's reflexive because I've trained it a lot, like a lot. So much at varying levels of intensity. It's the same thing with music. First you're reactive. Oh, I made a wrong sound. I'm an idiot. This sucks. I'm stupid. This is stupid. This is stupid. Your reward for just loving the victim is that you eventually get to become a master. Because the victim is just part of the journey. Your reward for loving the ego is having a soulful presence. Because the ego part of you is just a part of the journey. Your reward for loving the inner child and the small parts of you, there's a reward. And it's having that child with you all the time. So when it is safe to play or be childish, you can be childish. Or when you're making music and it's like safe to experiment and explore, you can fuck up without having to worry too much. That's how jazz was invented, I think, maybe. So anyway, yeah, that was a long rant, guys. Thanks for sticking through that. That was really fun. I speak to understand myself, and a lot of the things that I've come into understanding of have been just through my direct experience of it, and then I speak and share it with others to cross-reference because I don't want to just be stuck in this place where the brain works in, or the processing works in a lot of different ways, top down and bottom up. It's like if I have an idea and I experience something that's in alignment with the idea, it reaffirms that idea. If I have an idea and something happens that's not in alignment with that idea, I can either change the idea or I can go somewhere where I have an experience that affirms the idea. And the example I used last time was kind of like, for instance, fighting. If I have an idea that I'm the best fighter in the world and then I fight a guy who kicks my butt, I have two choices. I can either get better and make it so that my experience is one where I beat the fighter and then I can affirm the idea, or I go find someone that's weaker and I kick their butt, and so that way my idea is affirmed. So anyway, you're channeling. Clearly, I needed to hear that, Celeste. Thank you so much. Appreciate this. Um, I was gonna say too about the eating thing. Is like most people need more movement either in the time before they're eating or during their eating, um, because of the mechanics and the enzymes and the digestive system gets going when there's movement before the eating. Also, a lot of the times when you're sitting down, there's certain parts of you that are closed off. Like a lot of people will cross their legs. A lot of people will pull their heels in under the chair, and these are ways that you are closing off some of the diaphragms. And it's not that closed off is bad, but again, just a lot of people, all they're doing is this, eating in front of them. So if you do struggle with eating, one great super simple tip is to, when every time you put something in your mouth, before you swallow it, turn your head in some funky way, chew it, and then swallow it in some funky way. Yeah. I've got a boatload of books from my friend. She's pushing me into it. Oh, Ruben, you're training to become a Gestalt therapist. That's great. I love how often you come on live, talk with people, and how your advice and thoughts align with HD. I mean, that's the whole. I'm obsessed with human design, but I became obsessed with, to me, the essence of human design, which is the body and the energetic field. And I realized that a lot of people become enamored by the system of human design as opposed to what the system is helping you to do, which is claim your body and manifest your signature. Like people want to know more about the system than they want to know about themselves. It's really wild. The mind does incredible things like this. For a noob, what are your resources you recommend to understand the charts? Miguel. So I have reports on my website that will tell you everything you need to know about your chart. You could also just like, again, ask some questions here. Also, some things that are like really important, especially in the beginning, is um, just like learning about your strategy and authority, which you can find tons of information all over the internet, and just focusing on strategy and authority. Can you expand on manifest your signature? Totally. So, manifestation in human design and just in general, it's not about law of attraction like a lot of people think. It's not about like, I'm going to attract this dream girl or this dream car. Manifestation is like, who do I have to become to enact the law of attraction, to get the dream car, get the dream girl, whatever. So it's about who you become, not what you get. That's manifestation. Even with a project, it's like one of the reasons why people love to build stuff, build businesses, build empires, build clubs, build technology, is because there are certain things that you don't know. There's certain things that you don't have access to that you have to get access to in order to build the thing. And so, I was told there's the three types of goals. I don't know. I'm going to mess this up maybe. First types of goal, which is I know how to get it. It's not very motivating. Like if you've made $1,000 in a month and you set a goal to make $1,000 next month, that you don't have to become anything more than what you already are. And then there's the type of goals where it's like I made $1,000 last month. I want to make $10,000 next month. Well, you already made 1,000. So if you just do that 10 times, you can make 10,000. And then there's the kind of goals where it's like I have no idea how to make this happen. And a lot of people say, "Oh, well, if you have no idea how to make it happen, um, you know, how are you going to make it happen?" And a lot of people go, "Oh, I don't know. I guess I should just give up on it. Maybe someone smarter will come and figure it out." Or you go, "I don't know, but I'm gonna figure it out." And that's where the internet has made everybody, given everybody the potential to become whoever they want. And this in is the danger. Manifesting your signature means manifesting who you are, who you already are, not who you think you should be, or who your crush thinks you should be, or who your boss or your mom or your dad thinks you should be. Manifesting your signature means manifesting becoming who you are, who you already are, and feeling safe in sharing that with the world. Because it's beautiful that we can become whatever we want. But if you want to become something other than yourself, there is something going on, and a lot of the times it's like we all have to go through this journey of trying to be this person, trying to be that person, to discover that God, I really like being myself. Frick. Sometimes you'll even like discover who you are, have like a great chapter in your life where it's like, you live in a wet kitchen, you live alone, you eat the way you want to eat, your schedule is all your own, and then you're like, you enter into a group of people and your whole sense of self gets thrown off. It's like that's actually a good thing, because what happens is, if you're not tested, if you're not stressed out, if there's no contrast, if there's not something for you to push against, eventually whatever it is that you've cultivated sort of becomes meaningless. And there's a lot of people that would fight me on this, in the sense that it's like, oh, there's monks on the top of the world that are like feeling, infinite bliss and all that stuff, and I'm like, that's cool, that's the monk's prerogative to go do that. What happens when they enter into a city? Yeah, I bet some of them freak the fuck out. I bet some of them lose their cool and they lose their monkness. I bet some of them enter and it's the same. But I bet some of them are still running away from all of the things. And the difference is, maybe it's better illustrated like this. If loud music and large groups of people activate you, you get anxious, you get overwhelmed, you have two options. You can either never go into groups where there's loud music and a lot of people, or you go into groups where there's loud music and a lot of people intentionally. And when you feel like you can't take any more, as a training exercise, you leave that place to eventually build up a tolerance to that place, so that you're no longer deterred by a lot of stimulus and a lot of energy. You've become someone that's more robust, that's stronger. Now you can do this for two intentions. You can do this because you want to impress somebody, and you can do this because you love yourself and you want to mature. That's it. And sometimes you have to impress somebody and realize, oh my God, they're not impressed, to discover I need to mature and stop trying to impress people. So there's no right way to do this, guys. It's like, if you're going up a mountain, yeah, there's the road that everybody has walked up, and then there's another road, and the magic of getting to the top, to me, is not necessarily which road you take or if you got to the top. It's like, hey, while you were on the journey, did you tune into your body and listen to your body? Sometimes your body wants to take breaks. Did you not give yourself a break because you were so focused on getting to the top? Or because you took an alternate route and now you're worried that, oh, everyone else is going to get to the top sooner than me, I can't take a break? The only thing that is consistent in this world is change. And your body is literally the master mechanism of, what is that change? How exactly does that change affect us? And this is the appropriate response. Your body is built to adapt to change. You can hold your breath underwater, guys. And then we can do things where we put tanks on our back and then we can breathe underwater for a long, like, human beings are fucking awesome. You're fucking awesome. But you're using your ingenuity. A lot of people are using their ingenuity not as a means of strengthening their own inherent things, minus the tanks, minus the AI, minus all of the fancy stuff. We're building this external reality that's not necessarily rooted in what's happening internal, and that's why there's so much struggle and strife. And guys, it's supposed to happen this way. I believe this. It's supposed to happen this way, because how else would we be able to choose between being a dreg, between being, those Wally guys that are just in there, Like, how many people are going to choose to be the Wally people that are just like, oh, they have screens, they get food whenever they want? And how many people are actually going to build and cultivate their bodies and their minds and their souls so that when everybody else is in the Wally and they just are dependent, that we are still giving worship and still praying and still connecting with our true mother and father, which is space, sky, father, earth, matter, material, mother. Not AI and not this sort of like ASMR. You know what I mean? It's like not to say that ASMR is bad, but it's like, you can do that for yourself. If for those of you that love ASMR, by the way, um, attempt this. The sounds that you like to hear, see if you can't recreate them with your own voice and your own body. Seriously, because you'd be surprised at how good that feels. Not to say it's a bad thing to like let someone else soothe you with ASMR and stuff like that, but dear God, there's such a power in the voice that people are afraid to use. And it might just take me saying, "Hey, don't be afraid to use it," or rather, have courage in using it because it's worth it. The current struggle is paving the way toward a great success. I do believe we get communal. We get communal with the right people. Totally. Bro, I ran out of honey for my tea. I used the date. It didn't work. Oh, tea. I have tea. I'm going to drink some tea. Talk about adaptability. Yeah, and we find out what doesn't work and what does. And sometimes things work so well that we like never go back to honey. Sometimes they don't work and so we do go back to honey. The real question of course is like, what is this new sensation? Do you like it? Do you not like it? What are you going to do next time? There's all these, I think, important sensory based questions that are worth asking within the experiment. Man, what was I talking about? It's like big channel vibes today. I'm just kind of like, I'm gonna go outside and run around in a circle. All right, that feels good. Whew. I just bought your Reiki HD. Oh, perfect, Mio. That's the good one. I have budget reports for 20 bucks, and then I have my Reiki human design reports for 35 bucks. The Reiki human design reports will basically teach you um, how to read a chart and how to like understand the flow. But again, the human design system is very mental. And while you can learn fast, the real benefit is to like learn the right way. Like practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. So if you practice something quote unquote wrong, that's the thing that becomes permanent. And with human design, the thing that a lot of people practice is getting information into the body, but what they don't practice is processing the information with the body, which is where the archive comes in. Because human design can give you all the information, but then what you have to be able to do again is cook it, build pressure and heat inside the body, and the body heals itself. We just have to get out of the way. All over the map today. I love it. I know. It's like fifth line day. The executor. I'm going to read you guys what Neutrino Design has to say about this day. Which, in terms of apps, Neutrino Design is my absolute favorite app for human design stuff. Um, I'm biased because I've contributed quite a bit of Neutrino Design. Oh, Neutrino platform. I've contributed quite a bit to some of the features and oh, sorry, I gotta verify. Oh, what is that? It's a new verification. It's a puppy. Uh, but also just like when I saw it immediately, I was like, whoa, this aesthetic is the absolute best. Their transit tracking feature is incredible, especially for reflectors. Like I asked the dev, hey, will you put a 28-day time zone so I can watch like the perfect transit for myself? And he was like, yeah, I bet. And he did it. But anyway, Gate 27.5, the executor, either the gifted and principled agent of distribution or the good sense and ability to find one, the power and strength to care for the resources of others. That's what 27 is all about. 27 is part of this tribal network. And so it very much so wants to know the question, how much do we have? How much does each person need? And how do we get the resources to them? It's about the 2750 is about making sure that the babies become adults by making sure they get what they need. The 59.6, which is the channel of mating, is about making sure that there's enough babies to need things. But we have that as the exaltation, which is considered good. However, when you have something like a detriment in your chart, if you look at your body graph, you might see like an arrow next to one of your placements. Those are the exaltations and the detriments. Each of these gates and lines has an expression of either exaltation or detriment. The exaltation is, excuse me, perceived as good, but not always quote unquote good. It's relative. So let's say, what's the app's name again? Neutrino Design. Oh, Chris is back. What's up, buddy? We missed you on the last one. The con artist that doesn't know shit about energy is back. Actually, you're back, buddy. You're in my live. With that comment, bro, get the fuck out of here, buddy. Come back as another account. Oh yeah, we block you. Yeah, see, this is a day that I don't have time to deal with people who are interrupting the channel here. Neutrino. Yep. And you can also visit the link in my bio and get it there. Man, I kind of feel bad for blocking the bro, but no, I don't. Oh my God. Okay, let's go back to what I was talking about. Detriments and exaltations. So the detriment of today's situation is a restrictive nature that hampers distribution or the seeking of advice and assistance, weakness, and the risk of power being restrict caring. So that's like, again, you're either good at distributing the resources or you're going to find someone that's good at it. Or, this is the polarity, or you don't have the ability to distribute the resources and you're not seeking advice or assistance. In certain situations, that might actually be the signature energy that needs to come out. Is like, I don't know if I can distribute these resources. I don't really want to ask for it. That's part that in some people, if you have 27.5 in detriment, that's a part of your channel. That's a part of your circuitry. And what happens a lot of times is people will attempt to amplify parts of their energies that are not inherent to them. So if you have the detriment, you'll attempt to get really good at becoming the distributor, or have the sense to having the sense to find one. And it's not that that's a bad thing, but it's like the way to that is by accepting your detriment. Can you explain human design at the introduction level? Totally. Yeah. Human design is a mental map to help you discover the subtle energies in your body that make you who you are. And while it's incredibly powerful, it is literally just a map. The use of a compass, the use of a ship, tools, shovels, things that you would use in tandem with the map to go discover treasure, and the treasure is ultimately your signature, like manifesting, getting to like live the life that you were born to live, so to speak. The beauty of human design is that it is just a map. And this is what Ra says. He says it's not a complete system. It's just a mental framework to show you who you are so that you can start to do the actual work, which is to build the courage to manifest your signature and who you are instead of what the rest of the world thinks is. Can you talk about the tribal emotional wave and how to work with it? Totally. This is actually part of tribal circuitry, this current transit. And so tribal emotional wave is described as this like ratcheting kind of like up, 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 and then eventually like all emotional waves, it just poof, dips off. So with tribal circuitry, it's all about getting the things that we need and not having enough food, water, resources, etc., like things to like physically function and keep you alive. That's one layer of need. The next layer of need has to do with community, touch, and really like something to believe in, um, or something to trust. It's like we are healthier when we have something to trust. And so one of the things that we learn to either trust or distrust immediately is physical touch. When you're in a tribal emotional wave, it's about getting physical touch. You don't need words, you don't need problems solved. You need to know that when someone touches you, you can feel their acceptance and their presence and their support through their physical touch. So, physical touch, whether that's touching yourself or touching somebody else. And then, of course, in that touch, the goal of an emotional wave, from my perspective, is to get stagnant water out of the body. So whether that's through tears or sweating or spitting or screaming, get the water out of the body. Human design was synthesized because it was technically invented a long time ago, but it was synthesized in 87 and shared with the world in like 92 or something like that, by this guy named Ra, who had basically, he became, this voice just overtook him and told him to put the I Ching, the Kabbalah, the Hindu Brahmin chakra system, and the astrology into one system. And it showed him how to calculate these things called body graphs, which is what we use nowadays in human design. And so it came about in a way that was like, to my from my perspective, I think human design came about in a way at the turn of the century or at the turn of the age, because there are going to be people that use human design to fully descend into delusion, because there's people that know human design really, really well, and they use it to bypass their emotions. They use it to bypass responsibility and accountability. They use it to bypass all this stuff. And they're like teachers out there that are doing this, really well-known ones. And there are those who are using human design as a means of getting people connected back into their body. And those are the good ones. There's there's not a lot of bad ones. There's a couple that I'm like, I need to body slam you. But they're really like a lot of ones that are just sort of like, you know, human design takes spirituality and it sort of grounds it to a degree. And so a lot of people are like capitalizing on teaching and sharing human design, but they don't have nervous systems. Like they've never been in a fight. They don't know how to hold their energy in front of large crowds of people, and their posture is all messed up. And these are things that you could look at that objectively and say that's judgmental, and I'm fine with being judgmental. I just know how a nervous system in a body shows up when it's confident and when it's hiding something, because I've hidden so many things in my own posture and discovered so many things in my own posture. So been there, done that. I've definitely heard someone else who is into human design say that exact same thing. Yeah, we all say it. I feel like a lot of people say it, and again, it takes an actual embodied human being to know who is real and who is not real. Sounded like Interstellar when their father goes into the black hole, kind of. I mean, and communicates with his daughter. Wow, wow. Do you have recommendations for teachers? I mean, I'm kind of like a teacher. I have reports on my website for 35 bucks that will teach you the whole human design system. Some people want to charge thousands of dollars for a course. that will give you the same information. Again, it's about resonance and different style of support, because some people need their hand held, and I'm here to hold your hand up to the point where I'm not going to be able to hold your hand, which is just the real situation, which is I'm actually not going to be able to hold anyone's fucking hand because I'm busy holding my own hand. And so my style of teaching is, again, it's not about what you know, it's about what your body can produce when asked to bring itself to the edge of its limits. Why are manifestors usually narcissistic? I wouldn't say it's just manifestors. I would say people are narcissistic because they're really insecure. And I would say that if you can view narcissists as like insecure children with very fragile nervous systems and a lot of like blinders and conditioning on them, they become a lot easier to avoid. And there's a part of you that's like wanting to help them that will just sort of be like, no, because you'll be able to tell the difference between like a child that needs help, which is really what a narcissist is it's a child that needs help, and um but it's a grown person. And people get caught up with narcissists because really they think that, oh, this child needs help, but they the help that they need is to be left the fuck alone. This is where victim mentality and narcissists come in really well, because they like will ratify and verify each other. And the best part about victim mentality and narcissism is, like, again, it's so much focused on the external world. It's so much focused on, they did this to me. Like, if you hear people like talk about their experiences with narcissists, it's very, it's very victim mentality. It's very like, oh, I had a very shitty boyfriend and blah blah blah, and he did this and he did that, and it's fine to go through that. But if you're doing that for more than 18 months, you were not processing any of that experience. Because if you do that for 18 months and you actually process the experience, the way that you talk about it at 18 months is like this: I used to have very poor choice in partners, in friends, and I dated someone who was very very troubled, and we used each other to remain in delusions. That's how you actually feel about it at the end of the 18 months, if you're actually doing processing. If you're not doing any processing and you're just like drinking medicine and doing yoga and, not taking care of yourself and not learning and growing from that experience, you complain about it. So true. Children act out their trauma to release it. Hi, what about AI taking over the practitioner? Worried about this? Not at all, because AIs don't have bodies. This is where I'm like actually really excited. I love that you brought that up, because you can go to ChatGPT, you can feed it a report, any report, and you can ask it for information on you based off of the report that you gave it. It actually makes it very how you say, so it doesn't have to scrub the internet, and it'll get a lot of information wrong if you just let it scrub the internet. However, here's the magic. When you are asking ChatGPT to tell you about yourself, you are missing out on experiencing your experience telling you about yourself. So I'm not worried at all about this. I'm actually very excited because I saw this coming a couple years back. And there was a time when I was very analysis oriented. I would look at your chart, I tell you all these stuff like that. Nowadays, it's like I'm like a human lie detector. I was like, where does this show up in your life? And you say here, and I was like, go a little bit deeper. Okay, do this exercise. All right, how does that feel? I'm not worried at all by being replaced with AI. It's like AI is actually making my job a lot easier, because the people who are just, again, making their bread off of analysis, it's like eventually the GPT is going to be a lot better at doing the analysis. We don't need more analysts. We have AI. We don't need more analysts. We have enough analysts. What we need is people that are fucking manifesting their signature. We need people who can see things clearly because their eyes are not glued to their head. We need people that can swallow the truth, because most people can't. When things are too big or too much energy for them, they say that's too big, that needs to be turned down, rather than reality, which is like, bruh, you just can't handle it. It's prices are too high. You can't afford it. Oh no, it's a systemic problem, blah blah blah. Yeah, I get it. Money is inflated, it's a whole fiat currency game, dude. I get it. What the fuck are you gonna do about it though? You gonna go hold the government at standpoint and tell them to lower interest rates? The fuck you gonna do about what can you do about it? You can make more money. You can get more creative. See what it is? See what's going on here? What's that saying? When you point the finger at someone else, you got three fingers pointing back at you. Mm. We need a support group for these eyes, gates 11 and 17. I mean, that's what the archive is kind of for. Not that it's like a support group specifically for that. But it is a lot of support. We do get a lot of people asking for support and for feedback on the archive, and it's beautiful because there's a culture in the archive where people are not looking for answers. They're looking for relatability. They're looking for contrast. They're looking for support in not knowing. A lot of what we do in the archive is not like, hey, come learn this system and master your design and, get validated even. It's like, hey, look, we're just going to like witness you. Because sometimes validation, people don't want the type of validation that we'll give. Because it's like, bro, you are in a shitty situation right now. This is what I would recommend that you do. And you may not be able to do it. That's like the reality checking of it, looking to be understood and connect. Yeah, and also to practice being in conflict, because not everyone has the same ideas or experiences about it. More self-discovery in the archive. Yeah, we do our best, and we're not perfect, um, but we are creating a cult following in the sense that the stuff that we're working with is so phenomenally powerful. It's the stuff you were born with: smelling, tasting, seeing, hearing. The ability to crack it. Like, I just cracked my neck. I don't know if anyone heard that, but I just cracked my neck with the muscles on the back of my skull. I went into your Discord and I had to cry because I'm out here in the streets of the design unaware. Your space you created there was a breath of fresh air. Well, thank you, sages of the ages, and I'm happy that it's still going. Um, I wanted a different platform that I could pour more energy and focus into, because Discord is the culture in Discord is beautiful. It's not necessarily my culture. The culture in Discord is very inclusive. Mine is very exclusive. Like, you either get with the program in the archive or you get the fuck out. Because I'm protecting the truth. The truth, in a lot of ways, today, now more than ever, actually has to be protected to a certain degree, because there's going to be people that are coming along that want to pass off not truth as truth for the sake of being inclusive, and that's just not my vibe. I'm not with that. Everything up my G center is undefined and defined downwards. Is that normal to be that extreme? And what do you feel it means? Miguel, brother, hopefully you're still here. I know that comment's been there for a while. Oh, not too long, like 4 or 5 minutes. Great. Um, there's nothing bad about any definition. I'm an extreme case. I'm a reflector, so I have all of my centers white. They're all undefined. There's nothing bad about like having full definition or no definition. What's bad is when you take that and you, for instance, if I were to say, "Oh yeah, that's really bad. You're gonna have a really challenging life." That's bad. If you were to take that, me saying that, and you're like, "Oh God, my life is gonna be challenging. I guess I better blah blah blah." That's the thing that we're looking to remedy with the archive, because here's the reality of what that is. That is something external making its way into your system and then hijacking your entire system. Nothing is supposed to do that. You don't eat bread and then the bread you become a bread man, unless you're in One Piece, and it would have to be the bread fruit. What kind of powers would you have with that? Anyway, the magic of having defined centers is that you can count on certain parts of yourself to be consistent, like your sacral. Your sacral. When you tune into the Those like guttural sounds, and they're coming from your gut. Like when I do this, you can see versus You see how little contraction? That's just the throat. A little bit here. Because everything is laced. Been training for a while. But then there's the sorry to get like all grunty on you. But one of the things I would practice as a generator is consciously practice making those noise. Pull up a picture of someone that you're disgusted by and go to the picture. Pull up someone that you're like really enamored by, or that really gets your gut to, how you say, generate energy, and go feel into that. Especially for people with defined guts, that is a sensation. The way it travels up your body. Sorry, I just got a notification here. I'm still being recorded. Free up browser space. Oh, that's okay. I actually have to hop off this live anyway. That's okay. It stopped recording. Yeah, splenic is very very subtle. Splenic, what I would do is I would do a lot of like eye exercises, running, sprinting, throwing, that kind of stuff. And again, this is the kind of stuff that we train in the archive. We have classes that show you guys how to do this sort of stuff, how to relate with your body in this way, so that eventually you don't need the videos, or you don't need somebody to tell you, oh, this is what that means, because you can feel it in your body. Like the G center is like at the center of the body graph. It's like right here, but it's really your blood and your liver. So it's throughout the whole system. I'm on an accelerated timeline though for getting off the roof. Oh, the only thing I really know about it is I'm a generator 6'2". Yeah, never thought to swallow when breathing. Kimiru, yeah, and it's again, it's the simple stuff. We're not inventing anything new. We're just coming at it in a new way. It's very old stuff, but we're just coming at it in a new way. And we say this thing, all glory to the teacher, which is like the teacher is the teacher. I might have the teachings, but that doesn't make me the teacher. The teachings is the fact. The truth is that the teachings are the things that are doing the teaching. I'm a channel, cool. You can love me, you can praise me, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to let your praising of me as the teacher make me go up into my head and think that I'm making all this stuff up. This is basic human physiology, biology. Human design is a way, it's almost like a freaking gambit or an inception tool to get people to use their minds to eventually find their way back to their body. That's really the more that I explore sensory design, the more I see how human design, if the voice really wanted to save people, it would create a system that is so mentally complex that some people like myself and everyone in the archive would be like, this is so much mental. How is any of this supposed to help? Okay, pressurize, build heat, grow your nervous system. It's your body. It's not the human design stuff. The human design stuff tells you what your body already knows. So it's so freaking, it's frustrating, but it's also beautiful. You can bake anything. Oh my god, that'd be great. Wow, the bread fruit. That's kind of tight. When I freaked out when I first heard it was Luffy, I forget the bad guy. It was when they were trying to save Nico Robin, and it was the first time I think that Luffy used second gear, where he like dopes him, basically blood dopes himself. And when the bad guy was like, "You're using your rubber man powers to like compress and heat up your blood. Good thing you're made of rubber, other because that would kill any other human being." I was like, "Bruh, that." I see now why like Luffy is such a goat, because he just like Luffy is, and for those of you that don't know, Luffy's would be king of the pirates. He's a rubber man, so his whole body is rubber, so he can do things with his physical body that normal human beings can't do, like throw a punch and stretch. But then he can also like apply pressure and build heat, and he just constantly is like pushing himself to achieve his goal. And there's all the time. People are like, you're never going to beat this guy. And he fights them and loses. Then he fights them again and wins. And that's your overwhelm, your overthinking, your victim mentality, your narcissism, any all that stuff. Fight it and lose until you fight it and you win. In response, heart pressure. Funny how young children apply pressure to the parents by holding breath. Yes. And then parents are like, oh, don't do that. But it's like, I saw a girl actually the other day at a church show. She was going like this. And her mom taps her on the shoulder and she goes, I heard some fucked up shit about parenting. As a parent, your impatience becomes their anxiety. God, that's brutal. That got me like hard because I'm pretty patient with my daughter, but there are times when I'm impatient with her. It's like we're expecting these children. It's like oh, it's our job to turn these little children into adults. No, it's not. They'll do it without us. I believe our job as parents is to just love the fuck out of them. Give them everything they need. Life is hard enough. At some point, yes, there's going to be times to teach hard lessons, but it's not a flex. It's not, and it's funny. This is such a shift from where I was before I had children to where I am now. Hey, John Bellion is amazing. I had no idea who he was until you talked about Wash. Such a masterpiece. I couldn't stop listening. Oh, dude. Love John Bellion. Magic. Anyway, that's always been my motto as a mother. Love above all. Love and safety. They can learn all the other shit later. We have programs. We're building a program with sensory design to teach parents how to be able to contain their intensity, to contain their patience, their confusion, their doubt, their projections of authority. Because one of the greatest things that you can do for your children is to just take accountability for the ways that you're projecting your authority onto them. Instead of attempting to mold their behavior, see your own. Mold your own behavior before you try to mold a child's behavior. If all it takes for you to lose your shit and become a mean asshole is a kid screaming, bruh, there's heavier rocks to lift. Get strong enough, learn to lift that rock. People thought I was a crazy for apologizing to my son. Apologies are interesting. Apologies are very interesting. I'm going to go here, but I'm going to talk about inner vision for you, my brother Steven. So inner vision, we have this thing called proprioception, which is if I close my eyes, proprioception is my ability to like remember, oh, there's my phone, and there's my tea, and there's the table, and then there's the table behind me. It's like me in space. Oh, what did I do? It's like me in space. Interoception is being able to say, there's my left hand, there's my right hand. But rather than touching it from the outside, I'm able to touch it from the inside. And so a great drill that you can do for inner vision, and this goes for anyone that has inner vision, not just Steven. This also just goes for anyone in general. Just because inner vision isn't your strongest sense doesn't mean you don't have inner vision. But what you do is you get your hands out. You can even go into one of the sensory design poses, the kata pose. And what I want you to do is go into each one of your fingers with your mind, kind of like how we do the saccades, right? Tick, 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 tick. But go into your fingers, and you can do it a little bit slower. Go instantly into your right thumb, and then go instantly into your left thumb, instantly into your left index, instantly into your right index. And you're not using your eyes really, although you could. It's not against the rules, but it's just like explore the ability to navigate inner vision. And then once you do all the fingers, then you travel through the body. So you start in your left thumb and you travel up the wrist, up the back of the shoulders, across the shoulder, across the spine, across the other shoulder, down the tricep, wrap up around the, and you can use the stuff that you learned in sensory design in terms of, but you don't have to. Again, just like let the energy travel up into each finger and back and pulse and back and pulse. Remember to smell and swallow, and that's that. Freaking legendary lives, guys. Moments with months in between where I can see spirits and energy. Oh, do you enjoy that? Is this a brand new concept for me? What do you think about the third eye? Past few years I go through. Yeah, so there's seasons where it's like your vision is opening up. Um, I would say that if you want to keep that vision open, your sense of safety is the thing that you need to work on. I do this during yoga and workouts. I close my eyes and just flow. Yes, that's beautiful. That's the magic of it. It's like because there's enough structure out there in the world, but again, externalized authority was at one point inner authority. Like someone did this, downward dog for however many years, and they're like, "Wow, I fixed my spine with this. That's great. That's inner authority. I can teach other people's how." Now it becomes external authority. Now people are trying to fix their spine doing this method, but maybe their inner authority says you need to fix the spine by doing framing and different things. And so external authority is important. I'm an external authority in your life. Don't just take the things I say and like make them your own. Don't accept it just because I said it. Also, don't reject it because then you'd be silly. Entertain it. Like see if it works for you. And don't just say it works because it worked for me. That's not, we have very different constitutions. All of us are on our own journey. And I swear, if I catch any of you just accepting my ideas without testing them out for yourself, I won't come find you, but I won't like you very much. Unless you're genuinely ignorant of it, then I will love you with all my heart. But I will be like, if you're trying to schmooze up to me just by like accepting all the shit that I say without actually trying it for yourself, because I've been surrounded by yes men and it's not fun. It's boring. It's gray. It's vanilla as fuck. And I'm a reflector, so I need surprise. I need a I have a high standard in terms of in terms of that. And that's what you guys are gonna find in the archive. So with that being said, I gotta sign off, guys. I gotta get ready for the archive, clear some memory over here, so I can actually record this class. The archive is $37 a month, guys. So it's not it will, the price will go up, but if you get in now, you'll be paying $37 a month for the rest of your life. It might go up to like 100, maybe even a couple hundred at some point. So invitation to get in now, because I think probably in 2025 there's going to be a price hike, just because there's a lot of value in there, and also we don't want things to get so massive. But also I might go Robin Hood and say fucking keep it 37 forever. Wow, that was a terrible scarcity push. See, I'm not here to push scarcity. This stuff will always be available, and we're always going to do our best to make it available. At the purity that it's at without diluting it. And anyway, it's $37 or $333 for the entire year. You get like 2-3 free months for paying for the year. Best deal on the planet in my opinion. Better than therapy or plant medicine or yoga or any of that stuff. You just got to actually do it, of course. We do 2 live calls a week, one on Friday, one on Monday. We have a bunch of pre-recorded calls. The community is amazing. There's a gift feature. You can add gifts to your posts and stuff like that, which is very important for me. And you can find that via the link in my bio. Go to reikimarco.com, scroll to the bottom, you'll find the thing. And what else? Oh, if you want to report from me, I have reports. All of that's on my website. If you want a body graph, those are free. Also on my website. If you want a one-on-one with me or a one-on-one with or a relationship reading, I do couples or business partners. I do that as well. What else? The app Neutrino Design is also via the link in my bio. All this stuff is really easy to find, guys. Link in the bio if you want to work with me to whatever capacity. Go explore some of that stuff. I go live Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 9 a.m. Hawaii Standard Time. So of course you're always welcome back here. Thank you, Instagram. I'm sorry I locked you guys behind a wall. And oh, Alba, what does it take to get a one-on-one? Yeah, just go on my website. You'll find my calendar and all the things. I got to miss class against. Oh no, Carrie. That's okay. It'll be recorded. Love you guys. This was great. Shout out to my hater, Chris, whatever his name was. May you find the gluons in your chakras or whatever, bro. Love you guys. See you next week.